Hello and welcome to the Path to Freedom podcast, a weekly podcast with the intention to inspire, empower, and uplift us all to develop a healing consciousness that we, that is you and me, may forever allow for greater and grander versions and expressions of who and what we are to emerge with ease, grace, and spiritual dignity. My name is Daniel Roquillo, and I am your host. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Path to Freedom podcast. This wonderful podcast, this weekly podcast about healing and developing a healing consciousness, about growing, expanding, about surrendering, about spirituality and spiritual principles, about freedom. My name is Daniel Roquillo and I am the host of this podcast. If you have not tuned in before, from the bottom of my heart, with all my heart, I welcome you here. If you do have tuned in before, from the bottom of my heart, with all of my heart, I welcome you just as much. All are welcome. I'm so grateful that you are here, that you've chosen to join me for this close to an hour. For this episode. The theme for this episode is it is not for us to try to figure anything out. And this is about surrendering. It is about releasing and letting go of the future. It is about coming back to the nowness of this moment, releasing and letting go of that which may be, that which we hope to be, that which we wish to be, that which we think will be. Coming back to this moment, allowing this moment to guide our steps forward. So, as always, it's going to be a exciting episode, a wonderful episode, just as much for me as I hope for you, as I trust that it will be for you. This is something out of my life. It's a theme that I'm working on right now, releasing and letting go of thoughts as to what should and should not be. And also welcome. As always, before we get into the episode and to the topic, let's have a moment of stillness. Let's have a moment of meditation, becoming still, coming back to the nowness of this moment. Let's have a moment of prayer to raise our vibration, to release and let go that which we may have brought with us. Circumstances, conditions, places, people, things that we may carry with us into this moment. And so, as always, I invite you to take a deep breath. I invite you to make yourself comfortable. I invite you to place your hands in your lap, having your thumb and middle finger touch. I invite you to close your eyes. Smile, informing the body that all is well. And I invite us all to remind ourselves that this is the very first time that we're sitting to meditate, as each moment is a new beginning. The you and the me that is sitting here, ready to moving to this meditation has never meditated before. But those were previous versions and expressions of who and what we are. So this is the very first time. And also, before we move into meditation, let's set an intention for this sitting. And my intention is always to wake up to who and what God is, my absolute oneness with it. That's why I am sitting here, to have revelations, to have realizations, to have insights as to the nature of God and my oneness with it. So as we become still, I invite us to turn our attention toward our breath, allowing each breath to move us deeper and deeper and deeper into the stillness. Keeping our attention on our breathing to the best of our ability. Should, however, our thoughts drift, our minds drift, we gently and lovingly turn our attention back to our breath, and we begin again. There will be times during the meditation when I'll say the words, all is well, peace, be still. And I invite you to sort of use them as a placeholder or a reminder to come back to the nowness of this moment. Come back to the breath. So let's be still. All is well. Peace, be still. All is well. So peace, be still. And as I, in a brief moment, move us into prayer, I invite you to remain with your eyes closed, still, alert, awake, aware, that you may catch the vibration of the prayer. And so in this moment, this joyous, this glorious, this graceful moment, how grateful I am. How grateful I am for this moment, for the peace that is in this moment, for the love that is in this moment, for the joy that is in this moment, the harmony that is in this moment, the wholeness that is in this moment. I'm simply grateful for this moment. I'm grateful for you and for your choosing to be here, for your saying yes to be on this path, to consciously walk this path of awakening, of freedom, of wholeness and healing. I salute you and I'm grateful for you and for your contribution, not only to this podcast and this episode, but to all of creation. I'm grateful that you've chosen a life that is not set by the standards of society and culture or the world, but that you've chosen to walk a spiritual path, setting new standards. I'm grateful that you have the courage, that you're brave enough to be a forerunner, an emissary of love and peace and joy and harmony on this planet. Thank you. I'm grateful for this podcast and the platform and the community, for the platform that it is and the community that it builds, connecting people from all over the world. Even though we're not in the same time zone, and even though some may be tuning in at different times, it is still a community. It's still a field. It's a field that is active and alive, a high field, a field of high vibration. I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for the technology that allows all of this to be. I'm grateful for this space. That is my office, that is my sanctuary, that is my meditation room. And that allows this podcast to be recorded. I'm grateful for it. And from this space of gratitude, I know and feel that God is all there is. I know and feel that everywhere I look, Spirit is. In all of creation, in every single being in all of creation, in every single object in all of creation, and in the space in between beings and objects. There God is, fully present, infinite love, infinite peace, infinite joy, infinite harmony, infinite abundance, infinite wholeness, creativity, intelligence, beauty, bliss, expansion. I'm grateful to know and feel God is forever sourcing and fueling and funding itself. And as God and creation are the one and the same, God is forever sourcing and fueling and funding all of creation. I'm grateful to know and feel that God is forever sustaining and maintaining itself, guiding and leading and moving itself into eternally greater and grander expressions of who what God is. I'm so grateful to know that I and God are one. That you and God are one. That we and God are one. Spirit is we are. Spirit is we are wholeness. Spirit is we are wellness. Spirit is we are joy and love and peace and harmony. We are Spirit expressing itself in us and through us. We are unique and perfect emanations of God. And thus, we're eternally sourced, fueled, and funded. Eternally sustained and maintained. Eternally guided, moved, and led into higher and higher, greater and grander expressions of who and what we are. And all this means that right where we are, all is well. Right where we are, all is well. Everything is working for our good. And in this very moment, in every moment of every day, something wonderful is happening. Because Spirit cannot ever go against itself, diminish itself, contradict itself. But the fundamental goodness of God is everywhere. I know it and I feel it. I know it and I feel it for you. I know it and I feel it for me. We're in the flow of Spirit. And Spirit flows with such ease and grace in, through, and as us. Truly are we blessed. Truly are we blessed. And as I release the word, I do so fully surrendered to the word, saying, Thy will be done, and knowing, feeling that it is done. And the doneness of it is now demonstrating itself in this dimension with such ease and grace. Such ease and grace. So it is, and so be it. Amen. Welcome back to this moment, to this episode, to this topic of surrendering. I'm going to see if I can remember the topic. Yeah. It is not for us to try to figure anything out. That's the topic for this conversation. Because, how easy it is. And I'm talking about you, but as the human mind works pretty much the same everywhere. I know that it's the same for all of us. How easy it is for me to try to stretch into the future, trying to plan things out, trying to figure out how something is going to demonstrate itself, how something is going to manifest itself, I'm in a process where actually I'm emerging from an inner shift. I've been going through a shift. It lasted it seemed like forever. It was about a month or so, where there was a lot of turmoil within me, and surface structures were crumbling as a direct result of inner structures crumbling. As the surface, as the external is always a mirror, a reflection of what is going on the inside. And so as I went through this transformation, things were changing on the inside, and so things had to change on the outside. Nothing weird about that at all. It's just the way God rolls. It's just the way the laws work. But in this shift, as things were beginning to move around in the external world, I over and over again caught myself trying to project into the future to see how things are going to end up, to sort of plan the result, the outcome. But all of that comes from a lack of trust in spirit. Because what I'm actually saying, perhaps not consciously but subconsciously, is that I don't trust that spirit has got my back. I don't trust that I'm forever sourced, fueled, and funded. I don't trust that everything is good and well. I don't trust that everything is working for my good. But it's on some level, I have distrust. I carry the perception that I need to make things happen. You know, I cannot just let things play out the way they're supposed to play. So this is what all this means, this trying to manipulate and control and plan, trying to figure out the way forward. But I'm done with that. That has been such a large part of my life for so long. And it's gotten me nothing but stress and anxiety, the opposite of peace, turmoil, disharmony, discord. So I'm done with it. I'm fully ready to release and let go all of that. So this is why this topic, well, not only because of that, but because I was talking to someone actually just earlier today. I was having a conversation with this individual, and I've had the privilege of sort of guiding this individual for quite some time now. And over the last month or so, this individual has struggled with a lot of frustration, trying to figure out and trying to understand these principles that we're talking about. This individual wanted to intellectually understand these principles. And I was able to share that this is not for the intellect to understand. There's nothing that we need to understand. But as we yield to it, as we surrender to these principles, as we surrender to the guidance that we catch, whether from another awakened being, someone who's gone a little bit further along the path, or whether from the still small voice or the voice of spirit, the more we surrender to it, the more we can release and let go of the intellect and of our mind that think that they know everything. The smoother the ride will be. The more we can embrace and allow that which is to be as it is, the smoother the ride will be, the smoother the experience will be. It's like Reverend Michael Bernard Beckwith says. He says something like, this path is not about intellectualizing spirituality, but it is about spiritualizing the intellect. So the more we can come back to the nowness of this moment, the more we can step out of time and not project into the future, the more joy will be allowed to come forth, the more peace will be allowed to come forth. It's like we're all channels and conduits. And we want to make these channels and conduits as clean and as clear as possible. But whenever we move into the future, or the past, or even the present, which is not the same as the nowness of this moment. But whenever we move into time, whenever we get caught up by time, whenever we're not anchored in the nowness of this moment, these channels, these conduits, they're obstructed. They get blocked up. And so the joy and the peace and the harmony that I'm trusting that you experience during the meditation, even though things may happen, emotions may come up in meditation, thought patterns may arise in meditation, the body may act up in meditation. But underneath all of that is the peace and the joy and the harmony and the wholeness and the love. Because these divine qualities, these are the essence of spirit, and a spirit is right where we are, as we and spirit are one. These are the essence of who and what we are. And so inherently within us, they're always present. But when we step into time, past, present, future, we disconnect from them. But spirit, coming back to the topic of what was the topic again? The topic was that it's not for us to figure anything out. But as we try to figure something out, as we give in to the egoic need to control events and to control our path, we block this channel. And it gives us nothing but suffering and anxiety and worry and fear and doubt. Now, I have not experienced worry and doubt or fear at all. But still I feel myself disconnected. Still I feel myself tired, mentally tired from these thought patterns. And these habits, they're hard to, not hard, but they take time to release and let go. I'm working with a spiritual practitioner, and in our last session about a month ago, we talked about this. Even then, it's been almost 4 weeks. And at that time, I'd been aware of these structures and these tendencies and these habits for quite some time. So perhaps it's been a couple of months that I've been working on deepening my surrender, deepening my trust, my conscious trust of God. It's like I heard a metaphor with regards to this. And us trying to plan the future and us trying to manipulate and control is kind of like us planting a seed in the ground and trying to control and plan how that seed is going to turn into a tree or a flower or a bush or whatever kind of seed we've planted. But spirit is in that seed, just like spirit is in every idea, every vision, every intention that we catch, every insight is spirit. These are all seeds that spirit has planted. And just as with any seed, inherent within the seed is the full potential. And like we stated in the prayer, that it's already done. Whatever God's highest vision for each of us is, it's already done. It's not something that we need to come up with. Our job is not to make it happen, but our job is to make it welcome. That's our assignment, to make it welcome. How? Well, by cultivating, by creating the inner environment, the vibrational alignment with whatever vision or intention or dream or fantasy or idea, idea that we have caught. So we need to move out of the lower vibrations of thinking and believing that God has not got it, because God has got it. The Spirit has got it. And so this is what I'm dealing with right now. And so it's like a ping pong match or ping pong game where my mind ventures off into the future, I catch myself, and I come back, reminding myself either that I'm forever source, true, and funded, or that all is well and peace be still, or taking a couple of deep breaths, or launch myself into prayer, or meditate, become still, or as a new practice that has emerged over the last couple of weeks for me, I breathe and celebrate. So these are all tools that I get to use that bring me back to the nowness of this moment. And sometimes, like today, earlier today, I was in my car and I caught myself beginning to think of how the path is going to unfold itself. And I caught myself and I went into prayer, but the prayer didn't do much for me. So I went into meditation instead. And that's the beauty of these tools, that we get to pick whichever one we feel inspired and compelled to use. And if one doesn't work, it's like with any tool bag. If we have a tool bag and we are to drive a nail into the wall, and we pick up a small hammer and begin to hammer this nail and hit this nail. But if it's not working the way we want it to work, we have the opportunity to pick another tool from our tool bag or toolbox. And so this is the beauty with the spiritual practice. And I'm grateful to say that even though I from time to time entertain thoughts as to how long this release or how long this shift, how long this emergence of a deepened surrender is taking, I notice the progress that I'm making. It's a huge difference between how I respond now and how fast I catch myself and how easy I can bring myself back from 6 months ago or even a year. But then it was almost constantly, no, not a year ago, a couple of years ago, I was in a constant state of anxiety and fear and worry and doubt. Now they have dissolved. I can't even remember the last time I experienced fear or worry or doubt. And for this, I'm grateful. There's such ease and such grace and such harmony and such peace. The peace that passes human understanding. That is what this path offers. One of the things it offers. It's such a beautiful thing. And we are so blessed that we get to walk this path. We don't have to walk this path, but we get to. We get to. We don't have to do this work, but we get to. And another tool that we get to use is the still small voice. And just before recording this episode, I was in meditation. It was actually guided meditation. It was Reverend Michael guiding us through the life visioning process. And it's a guided meditation with the purpose to catch that which we need to catch, in order to allow for the next great and grand expression of who and what we are. And so I went into the meditation not with any specific claim, but I just went into this meditation open and available to catch whatever I needed to catch. We can use the meditation I've used it for this specific podcast. I've used it for specific areas and specific projects. But this time today, it was for nothing specific at all, but I just went into it open and available to catch whatever I needed to catch. And this process, if you have not gone through it, I invite you to do it. We did an episode a number of weeks ago, I think it was called What is Trying to Emerge. And that was guided meditation, where I asked some of the questions that the life visioning process consists of. And so there's a number of questions that we move through. And one of the questions is what is trying to emerge right now? And the answer that came to me was a deepened surrender. So that was beautiful, letting me know that I'm right on track, that this is where I need to go to work right now. This is mine to do. And when we came to the question, what are we to become, or what must we become? What emerged, or what I caught there, was a higher sense of discipline, or a higher level of discipline. And so that speaks to that I need to, or what I am learning, and what I need to learn in order for this greater surrender to emerge, is to be a little bit swifter and more awake and aware when it comes to and also diligent and persistent, but a little bit quicker and swifter with reaching into the toolbox. When I catch myself drifting into the future, I want to grab a tool a little bit quicker. And with persistence, and as I stay and as I stick to this, eventually this old habit will be dissolved. So it's happening now. So it's beautiful. It's a beautiful adventure. It's like driving at night. If you've ever driven at night on a road that is not as busy, perhaps a small country road, And you're in your car and you're driving and you got the headlights on, and just imagine that this is a road that you've never driven before, so you have no idea where it's going to turn, or when a hill is going to emerge, or when you're going to be going downhill, or you don't know anything about this road. But still you're driving it and your headlights light up, what, like 100 yards, perhaps not even that. But the light that the headlights offer is very limited. But still confidently we keep on driving, trusting that the headlights will show the road as far ahead as needed. And this is just another way of articulating and describing this process of surrendering, of trusting that we have everything we need in each given moment. And the path that we're walking, each step will be revealed to us as we need it. But there won't be too many steps ahead revealed to us. But we get to trust. And I'm speaking to me, right? Because this is what I'm learning. We get to trust that each step will be revealed. And unless it has been revealed, it's not time for me to make any deviation from the path. But when it is time for me to deviate or make a turn, either way, that will be revealed to me. Because I'm coming to an end. That was just something that came through that I want to catch. Yeah. Our ability to perceive or to sense or to see with our human eyes is so limited. Right now I'm in a room, it's got walls, it's got a door, and I have no idea what is happening outside that door. I mean, I have a memory of what it looks like out there. But I have no idea, and I have no idea what's going to happen in 10 seconds from now. Absolutely no idea. I can guess, I can fantasize, I can dream, I can hope, I can wish, but I have no idea. So that's what it's like to be human. And then we have God, who is omnipotent and omniscient, which means that God is the only power and God knows all there is to know. So God, in its infinite wisdom, knows everything, including the path for each and every single being. I have no idea what the right path is for me. God knows, Spirit knows. So, and I'm speaking to myself, so why not trust Spirit? Why not trust the Spirit? Why not release and let go of my futile attempts to control and plan and figure out? All right. So let's have a moment of practice, a moment of exercise. So I invite us, we're going to be still and quiet for a moment. And in that stillness, I'm going to ask the question, what do I need to surrender? Where do I need to let go of trying to figure out? So we're going to be still for a moment after that and just catch the answer. If you want to have a piece of pen and paper ready at hand, I invite you to go get it. If you want to write down whatever insights or revelations you catch. All right, so I invite you to close your eyes, and after this exercise, we're going to move right into our closing prayer. So I invite you to close your eyes. I invite you to tap between your eyebrows, activating that first eye, making us even more open and available to catch that which cannot be seen and that which cannot be heard. I invite us to take a couple of deep breaths. Then we move out of our heads and into our hearts. So from this space of stillness, let's ask, how can I surrender? What do I need to surrender? Where do I need to release and let go of trying to figure out? So let's just be still and catch the answer. I'm going to bless us out, so I invite you to remain with your eyes closed. Still open and available. Alert, awake, alive, aware. And so how grateful I am for this field, for this high vibration that has been generated, that has been co-created during this episode. How grateful I am for Spirit flowing through me, for my willingness to surrender and our willingness to surrender and say, thy will be done. How grateful I am for these spiritual practices, these spiritual tools that allows us to continuously move deeper and deeper and deeper, higher and higher and higher, wider and wider and wider. How grateful I am for all these teachers and masters that have gone before us, that are leading the way, guiding the way, showing the way, for the work that they have done, for the yes that they have said to do the work, for their lovingly sharing it with us. I'm so grateful. I'm grateful to know and feel that something wonderful has happened. Something wonderful is happening. That something wonderful is always happening. I'm grateful to know and feel it. I'm grateful to know that in this very moment, all is well. So we can be still. We can be peace because all is well. I'm grateful for our willingness to do the work. I'm so grateful for our willingness to do the work. Full of gratitude, appreciation, thanksgiving, or at least this word. So it is, and so be it. Amen. I bless your day, and I bless your way. Thank you so, so much, beautiful, wonderful being. Namaste.
You have been listening to an episode of the Path to Freedom podcast with me, Daniel Roqueo. I invite you to stay tuned for more episodes. If you have any questions or comments or just want to get more inspiration and empowerment, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. I also invite you to visit my website, danielroqueo.com. I bless your day and I bless your way, you beautiful, wonderful being.